everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to any new subscribers. Excited for you to be here. And today we are going to be talking about embracing change, choosing to embrace change. You know what, it's as we draw near to the end of the year, Christmas around the corner, it's mad. Christmas around the corner, this year's gone by so quickly. Like, I remember January 1st like it was the other day. But end of the year is nigh, Christmas is around the corner. I love Christmas. It's like, yeah, I think it's my favourite time of year. I get to spend time with my family, both my biological family and my my friends who are basically family, and we just do great things. And yeah, I love Christmas. Like, so yeah, the year is fast approaching its end. 2018 is nearly upon us, and around this time is when I start to reflect on the year. I start to look at all the wonderful, incredible, amazing things that God has done. And 2017 has been a year of change. It's been a year of change. It's been mad, and I thank God for every aspect of it, because it's all, I can see God's hands in everything, whether it's something that I chose for myself, or God was just like, nah, do you know what? We're gonna switch things around. God's changed things, and here as I am in December, I really just thank God that He did it. And I just think it's so important as Christians to sit to marvel at the goodness of God, and to not take for granted all that He's done, all the times where His mercy has just been so evident, where His grace has been so evident, because we have the favour of God in our lives. And just look back and say, thank you, God. Thank you, Heavenly Father, because without you, I couldn't have done that. Without you, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I just encourage you guys, tell God how great He is, because God is great. And just remember all the things He's done. Go through every month and think, wow, it will shock you how much God has done that you've even forgotten. So the beginning of 2017 was interesting for me. It's one of those ones, if you know, you know. It was just interesting. But it's like God spoke to me on like the first or second day. And God was basically screaming at me, you need to learn to embrace change. All my friends, family, they'll all know me as somebody who is a creature of habit. I don't like change. I really don't like change. It's just, I like to know what's going on. I like things being as they are. But God was really just calling out to me and was, see, you need to learn to embrace change. It will be good for you. It will be really, really good for you. And it was just one of those, yeah, cool, whatever. But God really, I mean, it was something that was also reinforced at church. Like, there was just talks about change. It's going to be a really changing year. Like, it's going to be a shaking year. Things are going to shift. And I didn't really understand the extent to which God was about to do that. But God did it to a massive extent. Not only was God calling me to embrace change in my spiritual life, God was calling me to embrace change in my personal life in ways that I just didn't expect. Spiritually, God was really calling me, and you might notice me say it in a lot of my videos, but He was calling me to take Him seriously. Like, I've always grown up in a Christian household. Since I've given my life to God, I've never really like backslidden or everything. I've always been on track with God. I just haven't really been like, it's not like I've catapulted or like, I've been there in it, and I read my Bible, I learn Bible verses, but it's like this year God was like, I want to elevate you. And that's like, change isn't always bad. Sometimes change is kind of like, a lot of times change is good. And God was like, He wants to elevate me. He wants me to take Him more seriously. He wants me to change how I approach Him. And that ended up just being, in terms of my devotional life, the amount of time I spend with Him, the amount of time I spend praying with Him. Going to prayer meetings at church was always something that I was like, yeah, God, I'll start going to prayer meetings. But this year it was kind of like, I want to be at prayer meetings. I don't want any excuse. I know Friday night is the night where everybody's like it's the weekend. The weekend started, but God was saying, take me seriously, and it's kind of like a take me seriously and see what I'll do. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna take God seriously. So my spiritual life changed dramatically. My reading my Bible skyrocketed. I finished the Bible, guys. I finished the Bible. It's been like 23 years that I finally did it. And my prayer life just skyrocketed. God started speaking to me, giving me prophetic words. It's like my spiritual life changed. My personal life, it was a more so of a, in terms of my friends, learn to embrace more people. God wanted to change the dynamics of certain relationships. God wanted to rebuild certain relationships. God wanted certain people to come back into my life. And it's kind of, anyone that knows me knows that my best friends are a girl and boys. A girl and boys. Majority of my best friends are boys. And I've always just been comfortable around boys. I have brothers. I grew up in an area where there was just loads of guys. And so I've just always been comfortable with boys. And not that I was not comfortable with girls, it's just that because I had a friendship group, and growing up, I was one of 5 kids. It was one of the ones that's like, do I need more friends? I need more friends. But God was just like, embrace more people. And this year, I've had more female friends than ever before. Praise God. Yeah. Because I was always just like, oh, he's going to be in my bridal party. But this year, God is just like, yeah, just embrace females. And it wasn't necessarily a case of I don't like females. It was just, I was comfortable with what I was comfortable around. But God was just like, stop that, embrace change, embrace people. So now I've just got a whole circle of friends around me, a lot of who have been so supportive and so instrumental in, like fearlessly faithful. And I really thank God for who He put in my life. So I had to embrace that this year. Generally, God was just calling me out of a comfortable Christianity, and He was asking me to have a personality overhaul. And I say this a lot, but it's just because my friends and family like to tell me these things. Gypsy is just one of those people where it's like people going, yeah, it's just how she is. It's just how she is. I had, grace of God, that's no longer me. I had a tendency of just like, I, if I wasn't interested, I just don't care. Or if someone really annoyed me, it was just like, I was just quite, I must say, it was quite negative. And I think it got to a point where it's like, that's just how Dipsy is. That's just how I am. And then it was like, no, I don't want it to be just that's how Dipsy is. That's not what God called me for. That's not how God made me. That's not how God intended me to be. That's not just how Dipsy is. And I was intentional about praying that God would change me, that I'd stop being so negative, that I'd stop reacting in a way where people were just like, well, that's just how Dipsy is. And I sought to be more positive, to be more Christ-like. And in that, my personality has changed. My mum will always just come and be like, oh, Dipsy, you're just such a different person. You just smile more. You don't complain. And I don't really notice it, but I know that God has done that, and that is a result of me asking Him, God, please change my personality. I don't want to be the girl that. I mean, I'm not helping it, man. It's a family trait, but I have like a personal screw face. A personal? I have a permanent screw face, but and it's one of the ones that, guy will be walking down the street and it's like, hey, smile. And it's like, however, I just kind of sought to just change that. Smile more. So I tried to smile more. And yeah, it's just been a year of change. And myself and my best friend Penny, we always do this thing where, I mean, it started off when none of us could drive, and we'd just be at the bus stop talking about life, and we'd be there for like 3 hours, freezing our asses off. But what more do we have to do? It's not that we have homes to go to or families to see. And we used to sit there, and it's like around like the end of the year, beginning of the new year, kind of like predict what we thought would happen. It's dumb because God just God is just like to us, you don't even know the half of it, but we do anyways. It's a bit fun that we do about who's gonna get married first. But we kind of like predict what we think is gonna happen. And this year, I think this year more than ever, I mean, we've upgraded to cars now, so we sit in cars outside Tenny's house, like we don't have homes to go to. But that's us. And this year it was kind of like, oh, so what do you think is going to happen in this sense, in that sense, jobs, graduation, relationships, all of these things. and God, and I think at the beginning of the year it was quite, we had like a sense of more, not fear, but just so, it was like that fear of the unknown, like so much uncertainty. You don't know. It's always like, oh, I wish like I could see my life in 5 years so I wouldn't have to stress about these things. And because it was like things were just changing, there was that, it was just that the uncertainty levels just increased. It was heightened. But in all things, there was always the peace of God in our lives. And God, when God is going to change something in your life, He's gonna, there is gonna be a peace that He brings. It's not gonna be, even in the midst of chaos, even if you're like, God, how are you gonna figure this out? There will be a peace where it's just like, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but I know you're gonna do it. One of my favourite verses that talks about the peace of God comes from John 14:27, which says this. It says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives you. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." So just know that if you are, if there is a change that needs to happen in your life, or you feel as though God is changing something, or there's a change that you didn't even want to happen, but it's happening, know that God is in it, and know that He will give you a peace. So you shouldn't be afraid about it. And that's something that I've learned every single moment in this year, where something has changed, and I'm just like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that. God gave me such a peace, and looking back on it, I'm so thankful to God that He did what He did. Even in the moments where it's like, there were times I cried and I was like, why, God? But I can see now why He did it. So just trust Him. But you have to choose to embrace change. Some things are going to change whether you like it or not. Some things you need to take the step and say, I am going to change this because I feel like God is telling me to change it. But you have to take that first step. So I just encourage you guys, change isn't a bad thing, which I've learned. Change a lot of the time can honour God. Change is what brought Fearlessly Faithful about. If I had not embraced change, if I had not stepped up, if I had not taken on roles that I would have never necessarily taken, I wouldn't be here speaking to you guys on camera. Yeah, I wouldn't. No. I'd probably still be watching Love and Hip Hop. But I chose to embrace change. I chose to listen to what God was calling me to, even though it was outside of my comfort zone. So I just encourage you guys, do the same. What is it that God is like, I want you to do this, I want you to stop doing that, I want you to go here, I want you to be still and hear what God is saying to you, and choose, you know what, I'm going to change, I'm going to live for God, I'm going to go for what God is telling me to do, and just see what He does in your life, because you will look back a year later, less than a year, whenever, and you will say, wow, I didn't expect that. But you know what, God is such a good God. God is a good Father. He wants to give good gifts to His children, and He will do it if only we let Him. We need to let Him. So I just encourage you guys, choose to embrace change. I hope that this has blessed you. Any questions, any comments, leave them in the comment box. And yeah, like, subscribe, share, do whatever. I hope you stay blessed, and I hope that you go back and you thank God for how He's blessed you in the year, and that I hope you started doing your Christmas shopping, and I hope you finish your Christmas shopping. Christmas is great. Anyways, that's my little Christmas plug. But stay blessed. Have a great week, and I'll see you in my next video. He does. And when we think that God is a sovereign God, that makes sense. Whatever He pleases, He does. No one can stop Him from doing whatever He wants to do. And if He wants to